Hi guys, it's Kaylee. I know I don't normally do stuff like this, but over the last month and a half, I've been researching Christmas Carol lyrics, and I want to share with you what I've learned. I guess I just came to the realization that I sing Christmas lyrics, but I don't really pay attention to the words coming out of my mouth. And so once I looked deeper, I couldn't stop. These songs aren't just shallow lyrics about cute little baby Jesus in the manger on Christmas. They're actually deep theological concepts that explain who Jesus is and why he came to earth. So over the next 12 days, my sister Kenna and I are going to sing a carol each day, and then I'll unpack a bit of the message that the carol is saying, either in a verse or in a line, or just the overall theme. And we'll get to see just a little bit of the purpose of Christmas and why it's so important. Let's begin.
O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, thou rod of Jesse, free thine own from Satan's tyranny. From depths of hell thy people save, and give them victory o'er the grave. O come, thou dayspring, come and cheer our spirits by thine advent here. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and death's dark shadows put to flight. O come, thou Key of David, come and open wide our heavenly home. Make safe the way that leads on high, and close the path to misery. O come, thou Lord of might, who to thy tribes on Sinai's height in ancient times did give the law, in cloud and majesty and awe. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
Hello again. Just to let you know, I have notes, so if I look down awkwardly, I'm reading my notes. There's no way I'm gonna remember everything I want to tell you guys about this carol. So let's begin. Day 1 is O come, Emmanuel. If you were paying close attention, you may have noticed that each of the 5 verses is calling God to come, but calling him by a different name. In so doing, they are calling for specific parts of God's character and reminding him of different promises that he has made. For this first day, I'm going to go over just the first verse, which is calling God our Emmanuel. O come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel, that mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Initially, when I read this verse, I had two questions. First, what do we need? Why do we need to be ransomed? Why? And two, why are we alone in exile? Both of these play into the same answer, but from different angles. Before we dive in, let's define a few things. In Webster's dictionary, ransom as a verb means to free from captivity or punishment by paying a price. Exile is defined as the state of a forced absence from one's country or home. So, let's start at the beginning. In the beginning of Genesis, the first few chapters, we see God creating our universe. He spoke a word and things came into existence. That's how powerful he is. And we see he made it over a 6-day period, our universe, and then on the 7th day he rested. On day 6, he made man, Adam, and then also made Eve, his wife, and said that everything he created was very good. There was no evil in the world at this point. Everything was perfect, just the way God had intended it to be, as the way he created it. He looked and he smiled and said, this is very good. So because there was no evil, there were no laws. There was no need for it. The only thing God did say was he made a rule that Adam and Eve could not eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. At this point, they only knew good. So he told them not to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But Satan, the enemy of all good and the enemy of God, came in the form of a serpent and tempted Eve, asked her questions, questioning whether she really understood what God had said. And so he seduced her and she ate from the tree. Because of this, sin entered the world and humanity is warring with God. Each time we sin, we are declaring our own personal rebellion against God. So we're not innocent in this. Each time we sin, we declare our own personal rebellion against God. Each and every one of us is at war with him, in the rebellion of wanting to follow our own rules instead of his. While we may not acknowledge or realize it, we are enslaved to our sin, prisoners to the prideful desire of being our own master, and we need to be ransomed from this. Our home is in right relationship with God. In Genesis 1-3, before the fall, we see that God walked with Adam and Eve in the garden. They got to see him face to face and talk with him. And this is our rightful home, our rightful place. Our sin exiles us from God, and Satan holds us captive to do his will, which is to sin and rebel from God. And this is a mournful thing. In addition to communicating this through the lyrics, the authors also did this through the melody, which is in minor key. One of the reasons I love this song. The minor key adds to the sad tones of this carol. But even in this sadness, we are reminded of God's promises and we rejoice. He will come. And he did. It is in the midst of our captivity, in the midst of this rebellion against him, that God came as Emmanuel, God with us. I encourage you to look at the rest of the lyrics of this song, which I attached below. What other names of God are used and why? What gives the name significance? Prophecy and promise, character and position. I encourage you to look deeper and learn the messages we are proclaiming. I'm glad you guys stayed and listened, and I hope you guys learned some things and were challenged to look deeper for yourself. All right, see you tomorrow. Bye.